Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Prayer and Tarot on Sunday Messages. I'm definitely back in my podcast flow. It feels good. It feels so good. Okay. Anyway, let's have some fun. I'm going to pray for you. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to pull some cards. It's going to be magic. And if you are new here, hello and welcome. This is how it works. People have submitted prayers via my website. And so I use the format I'm in agreement for. So this is giving an energetic yes to whatever I am praying for and whatever is being requested. So let's go ahead and get into this. This first one is anonymous, but it's a fun one. And this is to attract more sex into your life, and your higher self is telling you that it's very much connected to your relationship with money. I can actually answer this for you in terms of the connection there, just to give you an extra dimension to add into all of this, is that the connection between sex and money is really strong because it's about pleasure. So if your ability to receive pleasure and feel pleasure and magnify pleasure is really low, then it's going to make you less available for something like money, which in large part is pleasure-based, because as you receive more money, there's a caveat to that, but you can imagine if you're in a place of not having any money, having money carries you out of a fight or flight state in part, right? If you're good at receiving money and feeling better, that's going to circulate upward. It's going to have a positive effect because if you feel better, you're going to receive more. You feel more pleasure, you receive more pleasure. You're in more pleasure, you receive more pleasure, right? Or you're amplifying pleasure. So that's the connection to sexual energy, creative energy. So that's a fun one to play with. I'm in full agreement for you to really dial in your pleasure calibrator and for you to open yourself up to greater pleasure, both in the forms of love, in terms of sexual energy, in terms of chemistry, in terms of financial growth, in terms of support, and all of the things that make your life juicier, more magnetic, and more pleasurable on all fronts. And people, send me more prayers like this because they're so fun for me. So yes, I'm in full agreement. That's an excellent practice for us to all dive into. Okay, this one is for Carrie, and your fiance passed away almost 2 weeks ago. So I'm just acknowledging the graduation from being in physical form, from having an earth body, and walking over that bridge. So I'm just acknowledging that for you. I see you. I hear you. I'm in full agreement for you to feel and hold the tenderness of your heart. I'm in full agreement for the mending of your heart and for you to tap into the infinite strength of the heart. I'm in full agreement for your sense of peace, for your continued connection, no matter if your fiance is no longer in physical form. I am in full agreement for you to be able to live on and enjoy any memories that you might have that you like to recall and bring back up to the front of your mind. I'm in full agreement for you to feel at peace with whatever goodness and love and union you shared in this lifetime. I am in full agreement for your eternal well-being. I'm in full agreement for that. Sending you so much love, and I'm sorry for your loss. I know that the body is what has a really hard time, more so than any other part of yourself, any other non-physical body within you. The physical body is what has the hardest time. So I'm just sending you lots of tenderness, lots of love, lots of wellness to your physical being, to your mind, and your emotional body. Okay, this one is for Dina. I am in full agreement for your health and your well-being. Full agreement for restoration and feeling into the fullness and the never-ending flow of well-being circulating throughout your body, mind, and spirit. Full agreement for all of that, for you to receive that with ease. Okay, and this one is for Mary. I am in full agreement for your husband to tap into his ability to heal. And I'm in full agreement for wellness all around. I'm in full agreement for everyone to remember their ability to heal and have full health and to bring that consciousness and intentionality to the physical body. I'm in full agreement. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll pull some cards. What do you need to know this week? The Hermit. What's immediately coming up is self-sourcing, whatever it is that you're desiring. So think about if you're focusing on something, if you're wanting to get a job or you're wanting to receive money or you're wanting to cultivate more love or connection in your life, think about the energy that you would need to circulate in order to be an energetic match for that, right? So having high quality love, but circulating fear, desperation, and abandonment is not going to cultivate secure love. So this is all to say, if you can clean up and source your own energy and focus on that and that alone, you're doing the work. That is ultimately the work. It's not necessarily about reading more books. It's not about doing more things, unless those things feel supportive and good to you. But really consider your energetic state this week. I mean, that's ultimately what we want to be doing all the time, right? But this is putting an extra magnifying glass on you being the source, you being it, you being the creator, right? And all of the things that you're wanting have to come from within. They have to. If you are only coming from a space of responding to circumstances, then it's going to create a lot of instability. So if you want stability, you have to anchor into an energetic pattern on a consistent and stable basis, because that is actually what makes you unshakable. Okay, let's see what else is coming up for you this week. Yeah, so 3 of Swords. Again, this is a matter of cleaning things up. So unless you are in present time experiencing grief, or you have lost something and so you're recalibrating after a loss, right? It can show up that way. We can need to process those things, right? Tend to the human. So for some of you, that is how it's showing up for you. But another part of you, depending on who's listening to this, if you're not in the midst of a loss, don't take it as the anticipation of loss. No, that's not how this works. This is more about needing to cut out the things that don't work for you. So this is more of a conscious removal, right? Taking the Swiffer to your life, being able to clean up the things that aren't working for you, anything that is really not benefiting you. It can come from the mental body. It could be coming from the habits that you're involved in. It could come from relationships that really aren't satisfying to you and don't do anything for you anymore, or they're not co-creative anymore. So whatever needs to be cleaned up, clean it up, or whatever needs to be processed, just allow yourself to process it. But again, when we get to the creation standpoint, you want to go to yourself to source that, okay? And then we have the 2 of Pentacles. I'm getting totally take the pressure off of the need to make a decision. Is it actually time sensitive? Do you actually need to hurry up and make a choice right now? Or do you have time? Really ask yourself this question. If you do have a deadline, if you do have a date where you have to have clarity by a certain point and you have to give a final say, then just clear your mind, stop making the pros and cons list, put them down, put the pen down, and just focus on clearing your mind. When you do that, the clarity will come, or get into an energetic state of clarity. If you don't have a deadline, then give yourself more time. Don't put pressure on yourself to make a decision. So again, this is definitely about pulling your attention, pulling your mind away from needing to figure things out and be practical with it, because that can be a good thing, but not when it's pulling you away from desire. It's not helpful when it takes you away from what your soul wants to do and when it keeps you in your mind. If you're always making decisions from the mind, and that's really not what your soul is guiding you to do, you're going to continue to step into misalignment. And let me also add one more thing here. Misalignment isn't inherently bad, but just understand that it's going to give you the feeling of, ooh, I should have blah, blah, blah. It's going to push you to course correct. So don't look at it like I'm at a huge risk of making a mistake. No, this is more of, if you know where you're coming from when you make a decision, it will make it easier for you to really identify, was that a satisfying way for me to make a decision, or do I actually need to go with my gut, or do I need to put less pressure on myself, or, do I need to go with feeling rather than practicality? The results in the end will illuminate to you what the right strategy is. But beware of pressure to make choices or to have absolute clarity, and really empty the mind. Empty the mind this week for sure. All right, my friends, that is all that I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this brief episode with me. If you would like to donate, you're more than welcome to go to the show notes, or you can go to onyxhealing.com/donate. Oh, and also let me just say, the podcast episode that is coming out on Sunday is a freaking masterpiece if I've ever created one. My podcasts have been particularly juicy. It was from all that time off that I took. So make sure you tune in on Sunday. The episode is fantastic. If you haven't already listened to the Doubt episode, I highly recommend it. And so the episode that's coming out on Sunday is somewhat of a continuation of the Doubt episode, and just kind of wrapping up some pieces of that and clarifying the energetics that I was using and all sorts of good stuff. So make sure that you listen to that episode. And until next time, have a beautiful week. I'm wishing you nothing but good things. I'm sending you so much love, so much healing, so much connection, and have a beautiful week. I will talk to you later. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.